UConn is 34-0 on a 50-game winning streak, and somehow their starters have basically been robbed of fourth-quarter stats because they keep ending games by the end of the third. That's how absurd this team has been. So here's the real debate. Is this the most complete UConn tournament roster of the modern era? Or is Serah Strong just so dominant that she makes everybody else look unfairly stacked? And one more thing. If Texas is the one team peaking at exactly the right time, does that make this Huskies run feel inevitable or vulnerable?
Prime Field!
Welcome back to Prime Field. And today we're doing the full UConn 2026 NCAA tournament tier list. Every key Huskies player rated, bench included, with one big question hanging over all of it. Can anybody in this bracket actually slow down Serah Strong? Because this is not just UConn is great. This is national best scoring defense at 50.4 points allowed per game. The best defensive rating in the country at 70.6, a 24th Big East tournament title, and a system that somehow got even scarier after losing a generational guard in Paige Beckers. So here's the roadmap. First, we rank the roster by tournament value. Then we talk about why Serah Strong might be the most dominant force in the entire field. After that, the debate section, Texas, South Carolina, and the Player of the Year pushback coming from outside stores. And at the end, I'm giving you the one thing that could actually swing this tournament. Let's build the tier list. Let's not overthink this. Serah Strong is alone in Tier 1. Alone. No roommates, no 1A, 1B conversation. She's the tournament's unicorn. She leads UConn in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks. Read that again. On an undefeated team with elite depth, she is still the leader in basically every impact category that matters. She's at 18.5 points, 7.6 boards, and 4.1 assists per game, while shooting 60.1% from the field, 42.7% from three, and 90% from the line. That is not normal. That is a creative player. And the scary part, the raw numbers actually undersell her. Why? Because she only plays 27.3 minutes per game. UConn has spent so much of the year blowing teams out that Strong's production is basically compressed into 3 quarters. Per 100 possessions, she's on pace for 37.2 points, 16.3 rebounds, 9.2 assists, 7.3 steals, and 3.2 blocks. That is ridiculous. That is historical. She also leads the country in win shares, box plus minus, and player efficiency rating. So when people say, well, Michaela Blake scores more, that's true in the raw point sense. But Strong is the efficiency and winning cheat code. She's the center of the offense and the eraser on defense. And Gino told you exactly what this is. He said, she's a playmaker, and we're going to put the ball in our best playmaker's hands. That's the whole tournament thesis. No traditional ball-dominant guard, no problem. UConn just moved the Galaxy around Serah Strong. And if Gino's saying she's not even halfway there, doesn't send chills down your spine as a UConn fan, I don't know what will. Now here's where it gets fun, because after Strong, the real debate starts. Who matters most to title number, potentially another one for the dynasty? Tier 2 is your elite specialists, the players who don't have to be the face of the team to completely warp a tournament game. First up, Azzi Fudd. Healthy AZ is still one of the cleanest scorers in America. She's giving UConn 17.7 a night, shooting 48.2% from the field, 41.5% from deep, and 92.1% from the line. She's the perimeter gravity. She's the reason you can't fully load up on Strong. If you overhelp, AZ buries you. That's why I'm putting Fudd in Tier 2 and not Tier 1. She can absolutely look like a Tier 1 player in a one-game setting, especially in March. But this offense is still Strong-driven. AZ is the killer finisher to the possession. Serah is the possession. Then Serah Williams. This is one of the most important transfer fits in the country. Her box score to 7.1 points, 4.4 rebounds, 1.6 assists doesn't scream superstar, but her job is bigger than that. She gives UConn the physicality and rim presence to play more aggressively everywhere else. She's the front court stabilizer. Against teams with SEC size or Big Ten bulk, she matters a ton. So no, Serah isn't flashy enough for casual fans. But in a tournament setting, she's exactly the kind of player coaches obsess over. And if UConn ends up facing Texas or South Carolina, her tier value spikes. Now let's hit the group that wins you tournament games before the stars even take over. Tier 3 is the engine room. The connectors, the tone setters, the players who make the machine feel unfair. KK Arnold belongs here because 7.5 points and 4.8 with assists do not tell the full story. She gives UConn traditional guard stability in a system that no longer depends on a classic lead guard. That matters. She organizes, pressures, and keeps the tempo sharp. If Strong is the offensive sun, KK is the orbit control. Ashlynn Shade is another massive tournament piece. She's at 7.7 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.9 assists. And what I love is that her role is always adaptable. Need spacing? She gives you enough shooting. Need toughness? She gives you that too. Need someone who won't panic when the scouting report turns ugly in the Sweet 16? That's Shade. Then there's Blanca Quiñonez, maybe the most interesting riser on this whole roster. At 9.9 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 2.1 assists on 54.3% shooting, she's become the kind of wing every title team needs. Length, efficiency, and zero fear. At 6'2", she changes angles defensively and makes UConn look even bigger on the perimeter. And I think Blanca is going to be one of those players that casual fans suddenly discover 2 rounds into the tournament, even though UConn fans have seen the growth coming for months. This is also where that international flavor storyline kicks in. Quiñonez from Ecuador, Jana El Alfi from Egypt, Gandia Malou Mamel from Ireland. This bench has global texture, and it shows in how versatile this team looks. UConn doesn't just feel deep, it feels modern. But depth only matters if the bench can survive pressure possessions. So let's talk about the swing group. Tier 4 is the impact bench. Not stars, not passengers, the game tilters. Kayleigh Heckel is first here. She's at 6.9 points, 2.9 boards, and 2.9 assists, and what she gives UConn is pace variation. Not every lineup has to feel the same. Not every attack has to be patient and clinical. Heckel can inject a different rhythm, and that's as dangerous in a tournament because one chaotic 5-minute stretch can crack open a game. Allie Ziebell is your microwave. 7.9 points per game, nearly 38% from 3, and the type of player who can score 9 points before you finish tweeting, "Why is this still close?" Every championship team needs one bench player who changes the math. That's Ziebell and Jana El Alfi. She's the matchup card. At 6'5", she's not always going to headline a box score, but if UConn sees a bigger front line, she suddenly becomes a very real conversation. You can't win 6 tournament games without at least one bench big solving a specific problem. Jana can be that solution. So here's my tier list summary. UConn doesn't just have top-end talent. They have role clarity. And role clarity is the secret weapon in March. Everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows where their shots come from. Everybody knows what the defense demands. Which brings us to the actual debate. If UConn is this loaded, who's the threat? The hottest counter-argument to UConn supremacy is Texas. Full stop. The Longhorns beating South Carolina 78-61 in the SEC title game wasn't just a win, it was a bracket message. A 14-0 run to open the final? That's not surviving, that's imposing. Vic Schaefer questioned this team's heart in February, and now the response has turned into the most dangerous postseason narrative in the country. Madison Booker has become the name people are using when they want to challenge the Serah Strong conversation. And I get it. Texas looks tougher, nastier, and more urgent than it did a month ago. If you want to argue that Texas is the one team built to drag UConn into a mud fight, you have a case. But here's my pushback. Texas can match force. I'm not sure they can match processing speed. UConn's ball movement, the strong point forward structure, the spacing created by AZ, the defensive rotations, that system is so polished right now. South Carolina is still dangerous too, especially because Dawn Staley has already framed the SEC title loss as fuel. The last time we lost in this situation, we won the national championship. That's the perfect rally cry. But without full front court health, South Carolina feels more volatile than invincible. And then there's the player of the year debate. Michaela Blakes has the raw scoring load. Serah Strong has the overwhelming efficiency and the undefeated machine around her. That debate is going to light up social media all month. But for this tournament, I'm taking the player who impacts every zone of the court. That's Strong, easily. So here's my prediction. UConn enters this tournament as the most complete team in the country, and Serah Strong enters it as the most dominant force in the field. If the Huskies lose, it probably won't be because they got out-talented. It'll be because one team, probably Texas, turns the game into a pure physical and emotional trench fight, and UConn finally has to play a high-leverage fourth quarter. That's the cliffhanger. We still don't fully know what this version of UConn looks like when the pressure hits at the 5-minute mark of a one-in-a-possession Elite 8 game. They've been too good for too long to show us, and honestly, that mystery is the only weakness I can find, so now I'm throwing it to you. Did I rate the Huskies right? Is Serah Strong already the clear tournament alpha? Is AZ too low, and is Texas the real threat, or are people overreacting to Champ Week? Drop your full UConn tier list in the comments, spam your Final Four picks, and if you rock with women's hoops at the highest level, hit subscribe to Prime Field because Selection Sunday is here and we're just getting started.
Prime Field!